Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In the spiritual wellness witchcraft space, I feel like there's a lot of misinformation about what it actually takes to live a magical life and to dive deeper into your self-transformation journey. Our consumerism society wants you to believe that you need all of the beautiful things and tools and bells and whistles to get the most out of your magical practice. But I'm here to tell you that that is bullshit. You can get the most out of your self-transformation with your most important tool, which is you. Witchcraft and spirituality, self-transformation comes back to intention, living a life of purpose and presence, and doing the self-healing work with all the tools that you already have around you. You don't need a single thing, and today's video is going to be all of my favorite compiled rituals that you can do with everything that you have available to you right now. Favorite magical tool that I've used probably the longest since I was a kid up until now, and the one that I return to the most, is writing and journaling. You can do this with a spiral notebook you just have lying around, or scrap piece of paper, or you can invest in a cheap journal if you already have one at home. Amazing. Basically, this practice allows you to set time for yourself, and this really means writing about what you're thinking and feeling and processing with no judgment. I think a lot of people are afraid of journaling because of the cringe factor, and I'm going to be addressing the cringe factor a lot in my videos because it stopped me from doing a lot of things in life, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Anything that triggers your vulnerable response or your shame response is often tied to cringe, right? If you're afraid that people will read what you're writing, or you feel uncomfortable being open and vulnerable in your writing, I want to encourage you to try to set that aside, because the chances of anyone reading your work are very, very slim. And honestly, we're our worst critics, right? I remember when I started writing, it was really young, but I remember I would self-correct a lot and self-edit. I want to encourage you guys to do some free journaling about everything you're thinking and feeling without any self-editing. And sometimes this can be really stream of consciousness, and you'll be surprised what comes out. And that's kind of the magic of this process. You know, if you have certain hurdles that are cyclical that you've been dealing with, journaling really brings those up. So if one of your wounds is self-doubt or self-criticism, if you start noticing that you write a lot about this theme, it might mean that that's something that you need to work on in your magical practice. Maybe that's something you need to release. And through journaling, you might discover that. And that's why I love it so much, because I've learned the most about myself through this process. Another thing about writing that can be really powerful is that you can do some scripting. Scripting is writing about your life as though you already live your dream life, basically. So it's tapping into your childlike wonder and imagination again. Writing about it in the present tense. What does it look like when you wake up in the morning? But write about it like it's already yours. Today I woke up and the room was full of light, and the flowers outside my window were colorful, and I could hear the birds chirping, and the wind blew in a wonderful breeze over my face in the morning. I don't know, I'm just coming up with random stuff, but you want to treat it with sensory details. And then what does it feel like to walk into your dream job? Who greets you? What kinds of conversations do you have? What are you thinking and feeling? Write about it like it's already yours. And this is such a powerful process, because everything that you manifest is just your intention and your energy being put out into the universe and then manifested in physical form. So the more that you really start to believe that this life is real, the more that it starts to develop into your physical reality. And that's magic. That's spell work. And you don't need much to do that. You know, you can already just do that with your thoughts, your intention, and writing. Another powerful ritual you can do right in the morning is to set an intention for your day and pour that intention into your first breakfast routine, into your first cup of coffee or your cup of tea. So if you have an intention for the day, like, you know, you're manifesting stability or abundance, set that intention as you watch your coffee brew or as you put the tea bag into your hot water. Think about what you want, and then take that first sip as if you're bringing it into your whole being. Think about how you're bringing in that magic into your body, and maybe that will set the tone for the rest of your day. That's something I do often. If I have something that I'm calling into my space or into my world, I'll often think about it while I'm preparing my first meal, while I'm drinking my cup of coffee, and also that gives me time. Sometimes I'll bring it out to my balcony to sip my drink and really think about the energy of the day that I want to bring in, or some of the stuff that I want to call in, and that's kind of like my first initiation into the spell work of the day. And it's a really easy and simple way to start living your life with a little bit more presence and intention. Now, if you've been following me for a while, this next one won't come as much of a surprise, but one of my favorite rituals is nature walking. Going outside and recalibrating myself with the earth. And I do think ultimately witchcraft, magic, spirituality is really a return to the natural world and connecting to what already exists all around us, the beauty of the universe and the earth, connecting with the flowers and the trees and the birds and the wind and the sky, going back to those places that remind you of total presence and what it means to be human and alive. And so I often do a 30 to 40 minute walk a day where I just take time out of my day to completely silence the rest of the world, the noise, the social media, all the bullshit, and just spend some time outside with my mind and the natural world around me. I would recommend trying to do this once in a while without your phone, without music, without a podcast. And as much as I love doing that too, there's something about a nature walk where it's just you, your thoughts, and that connection to the sensory world around you. I like to listen to the leaves rustle in the trees, the wind. I pay attention to the flowers and the sounds of the birds around me, sometimes even the conversations of people passing by, and I reconnect to that total presence with where I'm at. During my nature walks, I will often pick up any fallen flowers or leaves, branches, anything that catches my eye, and that can be your way of forging your own little altar space. If you don't have any magical materials at home, no crystals, no flowers, no oracle cards, nothing like that, you don't need much to get started and build your first little altar. Bring some of those magical findings from outside and maybe some rocks as well, and set up a cute little space for yourself on a table, on a chair, anywhere really. And if you have a candle at home, I encourage you to also maybe light a candle. I just found, I know when I started, just random tea lights I had at the house or old candles I had. And you can light the flame with your intention for the day. As you light the candle, you can write a little spell or think of a little spell, like, as I light this candle, I become a conduit for abundance and presence and prosperity. Or, as I light this candle, I imagine I'm filled with self-love and confidence. Another important ritual I come back to a lot is self-care and self-love. Now, I don't mean like a 12-step skincare routine because, again, consumerism. You don't need a million different things. Whatever it is that you do for yourself that makes you feel cozy and nurtured is amazing. You're already ahead of the game. So it could be after you take a shower or you take a comfortable bath. Oftentimes we look in the mirror and we just immediately go about our days. We don't even really connect with ourselves. So a self-love spell you can do is while you're brushing your hair, or doing your makeup, or taking care of your skin, even brushing your teeth, is look yourself in the eye and give yourself little loving affirmations. You don't have to do it out loud, but maybe say it to yourself, like, I love you. Thank you for all that you do. I love my body. I love that I'm healthy. Thank you for carrying me through this life. You're doing amazing. Like, give yourself a little bit of that cheerleading that we all need. I mean, I feel like we very rarely pat ourselves on the back and give ourselves that nurturing love. Another very powerful ritual I swear by is cleansing your space. Now, I don't necessarily mean with like Palo Santo or sage. If you have those tools available to you, amazing. Even incense sticks can do it. Lighting a candle can do that as well. I mean like physically cleaning out your space. There's something about redecorating, restructuring the way your space looks, whether it's a little corner in your home that you feel coziest in, redecorating like a shelf on your favorite bookshelf, or just reassembling certain things in your space to make it even cozier. Decluttering can really help you declutter your mind as well and get you to a place that's a little bit more prepared to do the self-work and to do the self-healing, because any chaotic space around you is going to naturally cause anxiety in your being too. So I like to make sure that my space matches the vibe that I want to set for the rest of my day. It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy a bunch of stuff to design your whole space. It just means with what you already have, maybe putting things in a different position, maybe creating a little bit more feng shui or whatever in your space, creating a corner of your home that feels like it matches a little bit more of the intentions you're trying to set into your life at a given time. Now, this one's super fun, and I have only just recently started doing it, and it ties into scripting. which is basically waking up and pretending you already have the life of your dreams. I think there's something powerful about waking up and getting dressed as though you're the version of yourself that's got it figured out, that has the life that she's been wanting. And that means putting on an outfit that makes you feel your best, those accessories that make you feel like most tapped into that version of you. When you're dressed up and feeling more like yourself or your best version of yourself, getting through those like mundane tasks feels elevated for some reason. It tells the universe that you believe that you're deserving of a great and magical and beautiful life. Stepping into that energy kind of forces you to believe that you are already kind of crushing it. And that's spell work to me too. Again, all coming back to alchemizing. Everything about witchcraft to me is a process in alchemy. Things that aren't working, alchemizing them into your power. Tools that you were born with, using them as your magic. Creating that sense of wonder, childlike wonder in your life again. We spend so much of our years as children just imagining the life of our dreams. Why not do that as adults too, and then see if it manifests in your physical reality? And then lastly, one of my favorite rituals as well is meal magic. So basically turning your recipes and your time cooking and making those meals for yourself into a ritual as well. You can think about the ingredients you're putting into your favorite dinner recipe as almost like creating a potion, as adding little potion ingredients into a self-love ritual. If you're using rosemary, maybe you're putting prosperity into your meal, and think about all of the things that go into your favorite recipe, maybe that was passed down to you from your mom or from your grandmother. It's been something passed around your family for years and generations. There's magic in that, and there's love poured into that. So next time you're making a meal, instead of just going into this like blindly, instead of shutting down, think about how you can pour intention into every ingredient of what you feed your body, and how important it is to give every little detail of your life a little extra care and thought. Isn't that already inherently bringing more magic and presence into your life? I always think sometimes when I'm making like a soup that my grandmother used to make for myself, I'll stir it and think, as I stir this, I'm calling in warmth, support, and nourishment. And ultimately I feel that when I make the dish. And sometimes I'll make something with love for my partner and he'll be like, oh yeah, I felt it. I felt that you poured some love into this. And I think that's magical just by itself. And those are some of my favorite rituals that don't cost you a thing, with tools that you already have at home. There are so many other ones. I mean, even just sitting in presence with yourself in a cozy space, taking deep breaths and giving yourself that time to be totally with you is magic as well. Just want to encourage you guys to not compare yourselves to all of the other creators and people that seem to have it together around you, who have all of the things and more. You can build up to that, and there's nothing wrong with wanting beautiful things. I love my altar space. I love the tools I've collected over the years, but witchcraft comes back to you always. Your spirituality comes back to your intention, your presence, your mind, your soul, your heart, and you can always come back to that when you feel like everything's chaotic around you. And you can be away from home and tap back into that too. It comes with you, and that's kind of the beautiful thing about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got some solace in this and felt less like you were maybe falling behind. And let me know what your favorite rituals are, and as always, what you want to see from me. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.